Hello, everyone. This is Jason Webster, CEO and founder of Archetype. I have with me Josh Kreiger, the former leader of our managed service practice and current architect and leader of Service Cloud. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks, Jason. Great to be here.
Good to have you. So Josh and I met about 8 years ago. We had the same client at that time, was the state of Vermont. We worked for different consulting firms.
Yeah, we did.
But I had a chance to kind of watch you in action. You ran herd on over 100 consultants, multiple different firms, all technically working together to launch the health exchange in Vermont on time, on target. And those moments got heated. We had some pretty tense war room type conversations. And I was always impressed with your poise and your ability to keep us on point and keep us on plan and deal with all the flaring tempers and different agendas. So I waited the appropriate amount of time, and then I invited you out to dinner to hopefully see if you'd be interested in coming and joining Archetype, but that conversation didn't go so well.
I remember that project well. Thank you for the kind words. It was a huge team effort. Archetype was a big piece of that, and I remember the dinner even better. I remember the conversation. You said, if you ever have an inflection point in your career, love to have you join the team. Yeah. And I remember thinking, I missed this by like 2 hours. I had resigned that day, accepted another offer, and felt committed to that project for a little while. Of course. But we always kept in touch.
We did. And I'm not someone to give up too easily, so I put a reminder on my calendar for a year later, and we had another dinner and had a different outcome.
It was a good outcome.
Fast forward, you've been working with us for a few years and running a rockstar managed services team, and it's been growing that team. But it has not been a kind of steady Eddie normal few years. We acquired top-down consulting. Yeah. We launched a new Snowflake cloud data architecture practice. We launched a OneStream practice, and we've been growing quite a bit. We just got recognized as the Inc. 5000 fastest growing company for this year. Probably will be again next year. And in the midst of all that, we've tried to kind of manage chaos and manage growth. And it's been a lot of fun, but challenging.
It's been exciting.
And as a part of that, we've launched Service Cloud. Would you mind kind of giving us a quick overview of what Service Cloud is?
Yeah, sure. So Service Cloud is something that, Archetype's delivered hundreds of projects. Yeah. And met with, had hundreds of clients. And what we discovered through some of those projects is, more so than not, Archetype would always be asked to stay on, hang on, continue working with us, whatever that client is, whatever that industry is. And Service Cloud is really just an extension of that. Yeah. When we get into a client and we're implementing new technology, new processes, new things, clients, as soon as they get to a certain point within the project, and it's usually around that user acceptance testing time, right? When actual users are looking at it, even though it's in test, they start to see the power of some of the technologies like OneStream, like Snowflake, and they start asking the great questions of, could we hook it up to this data source? Could we get this type of dashboard? Can we get insights on this through this? And all of those things can be done. And they're like, well, can you do it? Of course we can. And we've kind of formalized that into what the Service Cloud is, where we're actually more embedded as part of the team at a client, but we formalize it a little bit more too, where they can see what we're doing, they can request things, we can help prioritize with them, and it's a continuation on with our expertise and the client's needs. Yeah, I mean, it's not unlike hiring a builder, an architect to design and build a house for you. Mm-hmm. The minute you move in, you start thinking about the what ifs and, we'd nice to do this differently, and we don't quite live that way, or we could use more space here, here, and here. In this model, you kind of have the architect and builder living with you after you move in, and with the ability to knock down walls pretty quickly and expand things, but also paying attention to how you live and making suggestions on how you could live a better life, right? Yeah, we see the things day to day, and we're with you, and we react to the priorities and the needs of the family at the time.
That's right. So building a new service platform, building a new product, They're not easy things, but then you have to sell it. How's the selling of Service Cloud been going?
The selling of Service Cloud is interesting. It's been going really well, I think, because it is a continuation of the extension of working with a client, right?
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, where we see clients wanting us to stay on board, and that used to be in the form of, hey, can we extend a little longer? Can we just get a bucket of hours and we can work with you continually? We've formalized that. So when clients are implementing a new platform and they know that there's going to be a lot of change management, or they're going to have a lot of ideas, or they have things, we've taken that and it resonates with clients when we talk to them up front.
Right.
And they've been, this makes a lot of sense, because these are powerful tools that you're implementing, and we'd love for you to stay on and help us get the most out of them.
Right.
And that's really a value proposition for them, and it's great for us to still be engaged.
Yeah, and it also removes a lot of headaches, right? I mean, the minute you hire some consultants to come and build a new system, you're halfway through, and now you're wondering who's going to take over responsibility. Gosh, do we have access to Josh? I mean, he seems to be the expert on this topic. Like, how do we keep his access? Can we find people like Josh who want to be an employee here and work here for the next 5 years? What if they don't? It's complicated.
How many different relationships do you want to manage, or do you want to be there with the person or the people and the group that have been there with you?
Yeah.
And that's what continues on, and it's great.
And it's, for me, I think the mantra is kind of like, our team becomes your team. And it truly is. I mean, 70 plus people, when someone calls with a question, it's a much, much higher chance that we've been in that situation before, or know the technology better than the one IT guy who's been assigned, or two IT people have been assigned to support the project or product.
Yeah, that's a great point. And with Service Cloud, you get the breadth and depth of Archetype fully, right? You get that. If we get a request or a requirement that comes in, more than 9 times out of 10 on our team, there are people that have that technology expertise, have seen it at other clients before, know the best practices. We can relay that. So you're not just getting a team of 4 or 5 people to help you out continually. If something comes in, you get all of Archetype to help you out continually.
So how has Service Cloud really impacted your team's approach to supporting and delivering to your customers?
Well, it's interesting. In a classic managed services piece, you'll take in tickets, you'll knock down problems, you'll do that, and it's kind of just it works, but it's just kind of a rote thing, and it's more along the lines of something's broken, or my data doesn't reconcile, or we're not seeing the same thing on this financial statement to that financial statement. Help us out. It's not. This is more along the lines of that, plus enhancements and new capabilities and things to do. So the way we manage that, when you sign up for Service Cloud, we actually make a customized portal for the client where they can see everything that we're working on. They can request work. We work with them, prioritizing it, sizing it. When do you want it delivered? When do you need it delivered?
Right.
And we can also monitor how priorities and requests change. So it's very agile in the approach and the relationship that we can change with the client's needs, but continually deliver.
Yeah. So, back to that house analogy, it's, we build a house you need to move in right out of college. It's a small little house and it has what it needs. But as your family grows and as your life changes, the house evolves and grows. And you're not trying to buy a house you need 20 years from now up front, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, big bang projects, they go well sometimes, but more often than not, there's a lot of money spent. There is a deliverable and there's success, but the target kind of moves sometimes along the way.
It does, and sometimes there's wasted space in that house if you build it too big. But if you build it as your needs evolve, you're getting the most out of the technology, the people, and the money that you're putting into it.
Yeah. So what are you hearing back from customers on the value prop? What are they recognizing as being the differentiator?
The differentiator, what we're hearing back from clients is just the ability for us to work with them and move very quickly. We have clients that continually, and I'm surprised my watch hasn't gone off and said, hey, another request has come in, where we're able to work with them and understand things. And say you have a backlog of requests, and we're working on a sprint, but something really important comes in, we'll move that into that sprint. We'll start working on it. If it's understood and we can size it right off. And I think that's the differentiator that clients are seeing. The other thing is, because we're there, there's always when you're implementing something or doing something, there's a big change management, a big shock to clients or users at an organization.
Right.
But they know that when we're still there innovating with them and working with them, they're learning as they go as well. And they're evolving with the technology as fast as they can think up of things.
Right. That's cool. So let's just talk for a few minutes here on kind of what technology is, what the art of the possible, right? So there's a lot of technology that might be implemented. What's included? Like what kind of technologies are involved?
I mean, primarily right now, I mean, we're seeing a lot of growth in the OneStream platform and the Snowflake platform for our analytics, right? And those technologies, there's other things that are involved with that, right? Some of the new modern BI tools such as Tableau and how to visualize data and look at things. We're also seeing a bit of a convergence in clients that are implementing one of these platforms and are interested in the other platform and bringing those together. Because if you have your data and you're connecting it into OneStream, through Snowflake or whatever, now you're getting a lot of value and a lot of power to make decisions based off of your financial data and your, maybe your supply chain data and other things as well.
It's kind of like the COVID effect in a sense that, these projects used to be isolated. They used to be different buyers and different decision makers. But what COVID's done is, obviously it's overlaid with a huge growth in technology innovation driven by cloud. But customers are now saying, hey, I need better insight as to my customers. What are they buying? Who are my customers? I need to understand the economy. What's happening around the company and the economy? What's happening in my supply chains? Like there's a shortage on silicon chips right now. There's a shortage in aluminum, and our customers are talking about these shortages and the downstream impacts on their business, right? But to tie all that together, you need a platform like Snowflake. You can bring all this data in. It's data created internally. It's external data. You're bringing it together, and you're creating some kind of meaningful picture that says, here's the so what on the technical side. And we need tools. You need data pipelines to do that. You need tools like ThoughtSpot or Dataiku to really present the data in a meaningful way. But then, of course, all this data ultimately has to be converted into financial impact, right?
It does.
And that's OneStream, right? Data is meaningless on its own until we can bring it together and understand the impact, not on today and yesterday, although that's important, but the future.
Modeling.
How do we model for the future? How do we create a greater forecast accuracy? Yeah. And that it never starts in finance. Finance is a consumer of information. True. Right? Very true. The business creates data. The customers create data. Ecosystem creates data. Finance consumes information and tells the company where to go, forecast accuracy. And fortunately, I think with Service Cloud, we can tie all this stuff together into an ongoing conversation between the business, finance, the customers, the ecosystem, and capture the conversation and report it in detail to decision makers.
Exactly. And, a black swan event like COVID, right? I mean, that made people think and start planning in very extreme ways because there were shortages. There were other things that they never thought possible, right? But with having, the power of like the Service Cloud and being able to monitor and keep this stuff running and keep data or connecting to new data sources now that you have to, or sharing some of your data with other clients and customers to understand, then you can make better modeling and predictions and hopefully better decisions that will have that financial impact.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. It's been good to sit and chat and catch up. It's been good to talk about Service Cloud.
Always.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time.
I appreciate the time as well, Jason. Great to be here.
And thanks for listening.
Thank you.